I've been testing out a platform called HiLink with one of my ESL students, and I wanted to share a quick behind the scenes look of how I'm using it, especially because it combines an online classroom, AI tools, student feedback, homework support, and package tracking all in one. But I also want to be really clear, I don't see this as replacing a strong curriculum or thoughtful lesson planning. I see it as a classroom and teaching support tool that can work really well alongside structured materials like Florentis Learning. Hi everyone, I'm Megan from Florentis Learning, where I create ready-to-teach ESL curriculum for online and classroom teachers. Today I'm doing a quick demo of HiLink, a platform that I've been trying with one of my own students. And I've used it for 4 lessons so far, so this is not a full long-term review, but I can share my honest first impressions and how I think it could fit into an online ESL teaching workflow. And just for transparency, HiLink is currently offering Florentis Learning teachers 25% off with the code Florentis Learning. And they are also featuring Florentis Learning curriculum inside their platform. You can grab the discount code just in the video description below and try it out. They also have a free plan. So one thing I really like about HiLink is that it gives teachers more of a complete online classroom space. So you can teach live lessons, use rewards, create or adapt materials with AI, generate parent feedback, create homework, and track things like packages and payments. For me, this fits best when you look at taking Florentis Learning, which gives you the curriculum and the lesson structure, and then HiLink gives you the live classroom AI-supported teaching space. The Teacher Hub still does fit within that bigger journey. Things like learning plans, parent links, progress notes, curriculum tracking. So I don't think of HiLink as replacing curriculum. I think of it as helping teachers deliver and extend their lessons more smoothly. So my honest experience, I've only used it with one of my students 4 times now, and so far the experience has been very smooth. The platform has been stable for me. I haven't had any issues with lag or reliability, and my student hasn't had any problems joining or using it on their end. It's also been easy to navigate, which matters a lot because when you're teaching online, you don't want to spend half your lesson troubleshooting the platform with your student. One small but important thing, it does have a really cool rocket ship in it, and my student, he's only 5 and he really likes it. So it's simple. It's really the sound effects that he likes because we do have some rocket ship rewards in Florentis as well, but the rocket ship like takes blasts off and it's got really cool sounds. It's really simple, but that adds a little bit of motivation and fun that young learners often need during an online lesson. So let me show you a few of the features that I think online ESL teachers might find useful. I'm going to look at this through the lens of an independent teacher who needs to plan their lesson, teach the class, keep the student engaged, send parent feedback, and stay organized with packages or payments. So to do that, I'm just going to share my screen. And we're going to see, I'm going to switch this, I think, so I can make it bigger, myself smaller. There we go. And so first of all, the classroom itself is clean and easy to use. So let me just switch. This is my dashboard, essentially, when I come in here. I'm going to make sure I'm on home. All right, so that's a lesson report, actually. So this is home. So when you come in, there's this getting started checklist, and you'll notice I've done a few things. I'm not actually using it to record any payments because I receive my payments on another platform, and I'm also not using it for booking because I do use Florentis Learning's Teacher Hub for that as well. So these are all pre-set up lessons. Now, one of the things that I will note is it is actually important to follow this getting started checklist because initially I was like, oh, okay. And I go to courses and I'm going to make a course. And as soon as you try to do that, what you're going to find is that you need to have a student. And so what you want to do first is you want to actually go to students and you want to add a new student. Now, you can put in their name. So I'm just going to choose, let's do this for one of our fun demo students, Lollipop. And I am just going to leave it as package, and I'm just going to give them 2 credits. And I'm going to add the student to the directory. So then what you can do is you can send this link to your student's parents so that they can actually sign up, and then they'll be able to log into the portal where they can do some of the AI questions and that sort of thing. So they do need to sign up. However, it doesn't seem to be a problem. I didn't have any questions from my parent about that. Once you've done that, you can go into courses and you can add a new course. So Lollipop is in level 3, Florentis Learning Core. And you can use the HiLink Classroom, or you can still use another platform. So if you're using Voove or something like that, you can certainly do that. I actually opted to use the HiLink Classroom. And the main reason for that is if you use another platform, in order to take advantage of some of the AI features, you'd have to record your lesson there. You'd have to take your recording and upload it to HiLink for it to be able to do its thing. And that doesn't really work for me. So then you'll see this is why you needed to have your student in first, because you select your participant, and then you can choose whether you have student booking or a fixed schedule, when your classes are, and whether it's weekly reoccurrence, all of those things. So we're just going to go with 2 because that's all the credits we made. We're going to leave it, that's my time zone, and I'm going to put this at 10 a.m. and I'm going to make it 30 minutes. Not that many minutes, that's too many. And I'm going to have it start on, I'll start it tomorrow. I'm going to confirm and create course. So now I have this, and if I go to my calendar, you'll see there's that course again. And one of the things that I had to figure out, which I wasn't really sure about, is you can actually take these and you can change the individual course. So I could come in here and I can actually reschedule this particular session to Wednesday, for instance, and save it. Now it's on Wednesday, and it's still on Tuesdays. It's regular time next week. So that's how you adjust sort of the days or whatever. So that's what I did. The other thing I realized is that if you have a student that's twice a week, there's some options in there. So just pay attention when you're setting it up, but you can always adjust it on the calendar afterwards. So let's take a look at the classroom experience. And I think that if I go to courses, we can go into this one. And we're just going to join the classroom. So as you can see, it's pretty easy. There are some backgrounds that you can choose from, or you can upload your own. And you have all of your test devices here. So we're going to join the classroom. And for first, the classroom is really, easy. It's clean. It's easy to use. You can bring materials into the lesson and use the teaching tools and keep the student focused in one space. For young learners, I always look for tools that are simple enough that the technology doesn't become the lesson. And so far, this has felt manageable. The reward system here is also helpful. So you'll see it. We've got this rocket. It does this countdown, and it does have sound. I don't think I shared sound. So that's sort of interesting. There is, of course, a bunch of tools here. So dice, YouTube, countdown, poll, quiz. You can throw in a web link. I think this would be really useful for a group class, although I haven't yet tried it with a group class, just because some of the tools like the name randomizer, polling, those types of things are nice with groups. And there is also a whiteboard. So if I go to a whiteboard, you'll notice that the videos move over here. This same thing happened when I used it with my student. And then you'll want to turn this on if you want your student to draw, or turn it off if you don't want your student to draw. So that was sort of cool. There is certainly a chat still, as you would expect. And there is this picture in picture. So when I go to screen sharing, and let me just open a Florentis Learning. So with Florentis Learning, I'm going to just quickly change screens here for a second. 1 second, sorry, just bear with me while I get my, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. This one, I want to add a screen share. Okay, so let's go here. So now we've got all of them. So anyway, this will work. So when we come in here now, you'll see I'm on my teacher hub on the teaching studio. And one of the things that you'll notice is that it actually, when I go to start my lessons, it actually is going to open that lesson in a different window. And so that is, that's sort of how that works. And I think that that's okay. I'm not really, that didn't really bother me. And it was fairly smooth. Now, I just have to figure out where I launch this. This is the common case of way too many tabs open at once. All right, we're right here. So when I come, this is the new look of the Teacher Hub for people who aren't familiar. And no, I didn't yet finish my homework for my teaching tasks for the day in terms of my feedback. But I'm just going to go to students, and I'm just going to start this with my fake test student. And so it will open in a new tab. And for those of you who aren't familiar, here we go. This is our live teacher mode when you launch from the Teacher Hub, and we do have some teacher tools. And so when I share this from the HiLink, I'm just going to go share, and I am going to find that tab right here. Now what you will see is I've started screen sharing. You can see it right here in the classroom. And there is this little, let me switch these again. There is on the classroom this little option to enable everyone to draw. So you need to turn that on so that your student can draw on the screen. And I did learn that the hard way. That little message does go away. But what I found is, yes, I can now draw in here, right? But I can't actually navigate in here. So I actually have to go to my lesson itself, right? And navigate. So you do have to have sort of both windows open. And of course, with Florentis Learning in the live teaching mode, you do have the rewards. So you can use the internal rewards. You also still have all of your teacher tools like your word search and your dice and all of those things right in here. So you don't necessarily need to jump back and forth. But if you are, and the other thing that's super helpful so that you don't need to jump back and forth unless you've turned on writing. So if your student is writing, you are going to need to come back to this. So I leave this off until I know that I want them to write. And then there is this little picture in picture. And so what I did was I used the picture in picture. And I think what I'm going to do, because this is a little bit, I'm just trying to manage this here in a way that makes sense. I'm just going to bring a tab over here. So what I've done is this is the HiLink class tab. So this is where my class is. This is now popped out in picture in picture. But I think I need to share the entire screen so that everyone can see sort of what that looks like. Okay, so this is what that looks like, and we're just changing. So you'll see we've now got the entire screen shared. We have the picture-in-picture mode, and then we've got all of these things. Now, if I go to full screen, which is what I usually do, and because I'm streaming this and all of those things, I've got a whole bunch of stop sharing buttons. So it's taking up a lot more space on my screen than it would, but look at it. It's nice and clean for the student. And I have my popped out picture in picture. So I can see when I have a student, I can see both of us in here. So that's super helpful and has worked fairly well. So if you are screen sharing, I definitely recommend using the picture-in-picture mode. Now, I'm just going to clean up some of these. And we're going to just go back here to not picture in picture. So another, and I think that's sort of what we'll do with the classroom. You will notice down below, it's automatically recording already. So that is something to keep in mind. You don't have to remember to do it, and the recordings are available. So that's really great. And then we've just got the exit button down here. When your student joins, you will need to let them in, and you get a little ding to tell you that. But otherwise, all in all, pretty straightforward and easy to use. So we're just going to end class. And you'll notice that it tells me I can close it. And when I come back here to my home, what you'll see is, because we've been recording, it's going to actually generate me an option where I can then generate a report. I'm not going to do that today just because I'm on the free plan and I only have so many credits. But what I will do is I'll show you a report that I generated this morning. And so you get two reports. You get one for the parent and one about the actual session itself. So let's take a look at a session report from a typical class. And it's sort of cool. You've got this overall summary of it. You've got some of the information about the topics covered. And then you've got the talk time. So it actually looks at talk time, which is nice. And when you actually generate that, one of the changes that Jan had made for me was to allow you to assign specific pieces to other instead of just the people in the class. So then if you're playing a recording from one of the Florentis learning lessons, or you've got the song or something like that from the lesson, it doesn't get assigned to talk time for either participant. So that's super helpful. It's got some information about student engagement, and then it identifies some things that the student needs review, some recommended next steps. And it's also sort of cool because it gives you things, in terms of what you did well and what the teacher could do better. And this is automatically generated from your recording. If we take a look at a student report, the student report can be translated. So that's pretty cool. The other thing that I think is absolutely necessary is the ability to edit the report. So it is an AI generated report, and this may or may not be what I want to share or say with my student, to my parent. And this absolutely gives me the full control over that. And so I actually have sort of my comment, right? So he was able to share many activities from his day, eating breakfast, playing outside. I'm okay with all of those things. And but I probably want to change, potentially the next steps, or maybe I want to change the at-home support. And so to do that, I have I'm just going to copy this in. And so I actually would have him do this as well. And so we are going to practice some past tense verbs because that's something that we have been working on. And then the other thing that I like to do is I'm going to take my parent link from Florentis, because that's where I have all of my teaching resources, the flashcards, all of those things. And I don't want to have to copy and paste those in. So I'm just going to take the parent link and I'm going to actually put that in here. And so I just go resources and full record at your parent, on your parent report, not at, on your parent report. And I just put the link in. I'm going to save the changes. And so now when we come down and look, so first of all, I didn't show you this part, but there are some little video clips from our lesson today. So that's pretty cool. And then this is the information that I put on there. So it's not hyperlinked, but you could certainly, the parent will see that it's nice and big and bold, and that's great. So you do get this parent report. Um, the other thing is that the student, if they log in, they actually have, and I don't have a student view, but they actually have the ability in the classroom to generate, they can actually generate their own little practice activities based on the last lesson. And you'll notice here we've got this generate report view recording. So that's just from our demo. But that's pretty cool as well. So there are some neat things. So the other piece is the AI tools. So if you want to generate, so from Florentis Learning, we provide homework worksheets, we have workbooks, we have flashcards. But if you wanted to generate like an interactive quiz using the vocabulary or using things from your last lesson, then you can go in here to this AI space and you just create one. And it just gives you something. This was one that I tested to close for different seasons, right? And it is just these are the questions it generated. You'll see, very, very straightforward, easy, and it has then that answer key as well. And for questions that it can automatically mark, it automatically marks those. So that's sort of cool. It's if you have, I would sort of look at this as sort of a tiered piece as well. You might have standard resources and then custom AI resources. So I do appreciate the auto-generated parent feedback, and I really, really like that I can still edit it because I always want the feedback to sound personal and accurate, and I want to add my Teacher Hub links. They also include package and payment tracking. So you'll notice that when we set this up and added the student, we actually had to say how many credits they had or if it was a subscription or whatever. And so I had originally put 6 in for my student, and you'll notice I had indicated I taught 4 classes, and so it shows there's 2 left. So that's cool. I can come in here and I can see all of the recordings from my lessons. And I can come in here and I can see the reports that I have already generated. And that allows me to view both of those reports. So HiLink doesn't accept payments directly, but of course you can keep track of that. So you can come down here to payments and you could actually change this to whatever currency you're using, and you can add a new payment. So if I wanted to add a new payment for Willard, I could do that for this English speaking course. And I could say that, it was 6 lessons and US, and maybe it was $125. And I can choose how I would receive payment. And then I can just mark it as completed. And it also lets you generate an invoice. So that's sort of cool as well. So now we can see this. So it is a way that you could use to keep track of your accounting, depending on how you're doing that. So for me, I still see the Teacher Hub as the place that I want to manage my full learning journey. It really is something that I have everything there. I can use things like learning plans, the new learning pathways, and I can use it sort of, it's not, I have the custom feedback already there that I can customize. So there's lots of things about it, but that's where I manage everything. But for this, I do see that I can see how its package tracking could be helpful for teachers who do want a classroom platform with some business organization built into it. And I think that this will become more useful in the future if they allow you to also accept payments. So you can certainly do package tracking on the Teacher Hub, but if you are also able to accept payments through this, then that would just be something else that you could do. One of the things that I forgot to show you was actually the resources, and the resources are pretty cool. I have to say so, because the one thing I like about them, of course, is that you can actually get to your Florentis resources there. So I will just bring that up again. So let me just switch those to make that bigger. And just if you'll notice down the side, there is this resources. And if we come in here and look at free, for instance, here's our free sample pack from Florentis, the ESL placement. And you can actually scroll through and find the variety of courses available from Florentis. Certainly, there are some of them here. And so you can just open them and they'll open in your new tab. And then you just sign in like you usually would. If you haven't tried Florentis Learning yet, then by all means, grab the link in the description or the link that's scrolling along the bottom and check it out. But I'd also encourage you to check out HiLink. Really, so far my experience has been very positive. My students enjoyed it. It's been easy to use. It's been stable. And I really appreciate that the HiLink team has also been very responsive to suggestions I've made, which is always a good sign when a platform is still developing and improving. So I'd look at it as a teaching workspace. It's not going to be a replacement for your curriculum, but it is a place where you can teach, adapt, extend, and organize your online lessons. If you want to try HiLink, then you can use the code Florentis Learning with no space between. It's in the description box for 25% off. And if you're looking for structured ESL lessons that you can use inside HiLink or alongside your online classroom, then you can always check out the free sample lessons from Florentis Learning. I'll leave the links below for that as well so that you can explore both and see how they might fit into your teaching workflow. If you, I see I've got someone watching, so that's awesome. If you're watching the replay, comment replay, let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions about HiLink, then by all means, drop them into the chat. I'll try my best to answer them, or else I can always reach out to them themselves to comment and to get you the answers. And have a fantastic day and happy teaching. I'll see you in our next video.